myself being the 8th man in the order of march, we were turning a corner just about to head south, and that's when I got hit. I had just come around the corner, and it felt like somebody had come up from behind me and shoved me really hard, when in fact what had happened is I had been hit by the explosive, and I flew 20 to 25 feet in the air across a small creek or wadi, and yeah, I landed face down on the other side. I thought to myself, like, that was very close.
Yeah.
And then I realized I didn't really know where I was for a second or two, and and I know I'd been hit.
Yeah.
Didn't know how bad, but you expect an ambush after an attack like that, so I'm getting ready for a gunfight, trying to get my gear together, get myself together, and I realized my arm had been hit quite badly.
Right.
I couldn't get my rifle. I couldn't bring my rifle up the way I would, and I rolled over and I tried to get up, and I couldn't really get up either. So that's when I gave myself the full check to realize exactly what had just happened, and I realized my arm was hit quite badly, and of course my leg too. Now my leg wasn't blown off in the incident, but what had happened, it was damaged so severely that when I eventually did get back to a hospital, they had to amputate my leg.
Today, we went over and we visited the Afghanistan Memorial here on the base, and I understand one of your friends is there. Gaetan?
He's Warrant Officer Gaetan Roberge.
Okay. He was one of your friends?
A friend, co-worker, my boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about him.
Well, he's quite a special man. First impression of Gaetan is he's a big guy and he's angry.
Yeah.
So I'll stay the hell out of his way. But
yes.
He truly is a gentle giant, and he has a genuine interest in making sure everybody's safe. And yeah, he's just when people say that he was a great guy and he truly was somebody different, he truly was.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people say that, but I don't want people to think I'm just saying it, because it's absolutely true.
Well, what made him different?
Normally, a person at his rank level is somewhat detached from the soldiers at my level, but he would take personal interest, and and he would become your friend. He wouldn't hold that I don't know, prejudice, or I'm not sure what you'd say, but he wouldn't make that distinction.
Yes.
And so he made it very easy to get to know him, and he looked out for your personal safety. I know several times that he looked out for me. He helped me out. We were doing house-to-house clearing in a village, the Nal Bazaar it was called, and when we were going through orders beforehand, it was going to be my job to hold a crossroads, a T intersection, just myself with one machine gun. And I thought, well, there's 3 avenues approach on one person. I don't have eyes in the back of my head. You get into an urban environment like that, threats come from all around. It's a 360-degree
threat?
Yeah, exactly. So you got above and below, front, back, side, the side. And in fact, well, I knew it was going to be a bit difficult going into it, but we get there, we get on the ground, and we start going through the village, and Gaetan comes up to me and he's like, listen, this is not right. I'm not going to leave you here. So he stayed there at the intersection with me, so we could cover each other's backs.
Yeah.
And in fact, it was quite good that he did that, because we did in fact get attacked.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we were there, and we were able to cover each other, which was good, instead of me all by myself.
And if he hadn't have been there?
Well, who knows? Like I say, there's so much that there's only so much that one person can do.
So eventually, what happened to Gaetan?
Well, it was probably about a month after that. He had just come back from leave the day before, and what had happened is that night, one of our Afghan police checkpoints had been attacked. Everybody was killed except for one person. It was an Afghan police officer. He came back to our place. He had been shot in the face, but he was able to come back and tell us what happened. And so what we did, because my section currently didn't have vehicles, Gaetan's section went out and to check out the scene, and of course the engineers were there. Everybody was there to clear the site because there were dead bodies. You have to check the site for IEDs, booby traps, decoys, that sort of thing. And the engineers were all ready to call the site clear. They have to keep in mind that the Taliban are experts in planting bombs, and experts at doing it so you can't find them. So that's exactly what happened, and you know, the situation was almost all cleared up, and everybody was heading back to their vehicles when a device was detonated. It was detonated underneath 5 soldiers, 5 people. 2 Canadian soldiers were killed, along with 3 Afghan police. One of the soldiers was Gaetan Roberge.
You miss him?
I do, yeah. And he's, like I say, he was a special person.
So he wasn't just your boss, he was a friend?
He was. Him and I used to talk at least for an hour, quite a few nights, because him and I had a tower shift together. So we'd stand up in the tower and talk, and
Yeah.
I used to tell him about the motorcycle that I wanted to buy, and he'd tell me about the motorcycle that he had, and
Yeah.
you know, I used to tell him I wanted to buy a Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
And he said, well, why the hell would you want to buy one of those for? And I was, well, it's a Harley, they're nice
Yeah.
bikes. He's like, well, you gotta worry about them overheating, they're pieces of junk, they're always breaking down. And I'm like, well, what do you ride? And he says, well, I ride a Honda. And I'm like, you know, or I think he said he rode a Kawasaki, and I'm like, well, you ride a Japanese bike. How can you even be part of this conversation?
Yes.
So we used to have our arguments about that, but
Right.
you know, we always made the deal that we were going to go riding when we got home, because you know, I was going to buy my motorcycle, and he already had his, and yeah.
Have you bought your motorcycle?
No, I haven't. I'm not quite sure if, with the injury that I have, if I'll even be able to ride again.
So if you do, you'll be thinking of him.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'll probably be berating you for driving a Harley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He will, and you know, of course, if anything ever happens to it, I'll know who's up there laughing at me.